Frank Broyles died today after dealing with Alzheimer's and other medical complications over the last few weeks. Family and friends had seen this day coming, but it is still tough to say those words. Frank Broyles died today. He meant so much to the development of Arkansas athletics as a dominant force in all sports, but it was in football that he first staked his claim to becoming a legend. How many times did he call the Hogs? It's got to be in the tens of thousands. Pretty good considering after coming from Missouri, he lost his first 6 games. But Broyles made adjustments that first year and produced a winner that saw 4 winning seasons in a row. And thanks to an outstanding group of assistants, they won the Cotton Bowl in 1964. When Bobby Burnett scored a late touchdown against Nebraska, Arkansas wins the Football Writers' National Championship. It would be Broyles' highlight as coach. This was the last great victory as coach in 1976 in the Cotton Bowl, a victory over Georgia. In 1977, he became the full-time athletic director. Entering the network TV phase of his career, he was color commentator on ABC's College Football. Even had an acting role as doctor to Gregory Peck's Lincoln in the TV movie The Blue and the Gray. The coaches he hired became big news, as did the coaches he fired, and the moves he made. Like in 1990, getting Arkansas into the SEC. In a 2007 interview at the Pryor Center at the U of A, he admitted he made the move out of fear.
I was scared. I don't mind telling you that A&M and Texas were going to pull out, go somewhere, and we'd be left without any of the big draws in our conference.
But once in the SEC, the ante had been raised, so that by 2000, he made his most controversial move ever, pulling games from War Memorial Stadium and Little Rock.
I lost some real good friends over that because I was convinced that we had to have a stadium to be competitive in the Southeastern Conference.
He would get that stadium built in 2001. After his wife died of Alzheimer's, Coach committed much of his energy to raising money for research. In 2007, the U of A board voted to end Broyles' tenure after 50 years of service. The words that day ring true this day, describing his legacy.
To always try to be better, to try to make things better.
It's about emotion. It's not about a bottom line business. Yet he was able to keep the emotion and do the kinds of things that you have to do.
And the fans of Arkansas deserve all the credit. They're the ones that made everything happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. Frank Broyles was 92. A special thanks to the Pryor Center for Arkansas Oral and Visual History at the University of Arkansas for portions of that piece. And Hayden Balgavy joins me now. And you saw firsthand for your young self the reaction that fans had to Broyles.
Well, you know, I think it's really funny. You're a generation Razorback fan. I'm a different generation of a Razorback fan. We all grew up Hog fans, and we all know who Coach Broyles is, and you could tell that today. I spent this afternoon over at 103.7 The Buzz, fans calling in left and right. And you know, fans, they call in Monday morning to talk about this and that. Not one different call other than Frank Broyles. Everyone had a story, everything from top to bottom. Absolutely the legacy he started, the legacy he left. In fact, we also caught up with former Razorback Anthony Lucas, who's so well known for that catch he made in 1999 against Tennessee. He told me a little something Coach Broyles told him after that big game and how many amazing moments that he had at the University of Arkansas. We're going to have those coming up a little bit later.
Well, thank you for checking into that, and we look forward to hearing from those fans. You think about it, all the Razorback clubs, he visited each one at least 30 times, 40 times in his career. He was so close to the Razorback public, maybe more so than any other SEC school.
The normal enthusiasm on Out of Bounds with Dave and Sully replaced with a solemn scene Monday afternoon.
Everybody's mind's probably going, wow, this really happened to Coach Broyles, because he kind of seemed to be larger than life, right?
I don't know. It's kind of beyond me that he passed. I guess you don't really think about it until it happened.
Frank Broyles spent over 50 years with the University of Arkansas, and just a few years ago, he recalled the exact moment he became an Arkansan.
And I remember the night, it was 7:31 and 30 seconds. On December the 6th, I got a call from John Barnhill, the athletic director, and he said, "Hello, Frank, this is Barney." And I said, "What the heck you been waiting on?"
That phone call would result in 19 seasons, 144 victories, and the school's only football national championship.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, Arkansas to the Cotton Bowl. We sang that all of my career here.
Broyles' impact stretched all the way from his first year in 1958 to well beyond the turn of the century. Former Razorback wide receiver Anthony Lucas remembers his time with Coach all too well.
I do used to love when he used to tell me, you know, son, great job today. Good job of catching the football.
Lucas, now an assistant at Pulaski Academy, credits Broyles for helping him find his way into coaching.
You know, I just thank him for all the opportunities that he gave me, and not just only me, all former Razorback players and current players all over the nation.
Now fans and players alike celebrate the life of a man who put the Razorbacks on the map.
If his door was open and Donita said it was open to go in, all you had to do was watch out you didn't step on the golf balls that were laying on the floor.
When you hear Arkansas Razorback football, seriously, one of the first things that come to mind is Frank Broyles.
I'm proud and happy of the support the people of Arkansas had for the Razorback program, which included my support for me.
Saturday afternoon in the Basketball Palace of Mid-America, Arkansas's king of athletics was remembered by his friends and family.
He was a hero to us, and we just are here to pay our respects and to honor him and his life.
He's just an icon.
Through his 50 years of service to the University of Arkansas, Frank Broyles was a man who wore many hats.
I came to know Frank Broyles as a man on a mission.
He was the man from Georgia Tech who delivered Arkansas's first national championship.
The joy and the celebration and the love that coaches and players and all Arkansans had in that locker room, that you had created and given us a moment to experience that tremendous moment.
He was the man with the biggest voice in college football from the broadcasting booth alongside Keith Jackson every Saturday night.
Now picture that. You got this little kid running around the hood with a fake Southern accent trying to sound like Frank Broyles. Let me tell you, that made for some interesting Saturdays in Duncan.
He was the father who, no matter what, would never miss a moment to spend time with his family.
He always came home for the evening meal, and that was a special time for us. That was the time that we got to share with our father what our day was like at school, what we were doing in sports. It was kind of Dad's way of keeping up with the family. Those times were really special, and I think they formed the values of all of our lives to this day.
And to many, above all else, he was the man who brought pride to Arkansas.
And I can still remember that moment and thanking God for Coach Frank Broyles and for what he had created so that the players on that team were getting ready to put on that helmet with that hog on it, put on that Cardinal jersey, run out through that A.
And if anybody ever said, "Frank, you made Arkansas," he was quick to say, "No, Arkansas made me."
Now he's the man fans will forever be indebted to for making the Razorbacks one of a kind.
To see it all grow, I give Coach Broyles all the credit in the world. He's number one, no question.
I stepped outside of my house that from the sky, I heard something that sounded like a hog call. And that could have been thunder, but I have learned never underestimate Frank Broyles.